when you talk about media conglomerates, he really knows what he's doing.
Yes.
He is smart.
He's very smart.
Really smart and tough.
You're his bitch.
I'm 100% his bitch. Whatever Mr. Murdoch says, I do.
Exactly. You know how you treat your migrant workers that shine up your Bentley and stuff? That Robert Murdoch could treat you that way.
Really?
Yep.
I would be honored if he would cane me the way I cane my workers, my servants.
Joe Rogan has praised Tucker Carlson. We all know Joe Rogan, our favorite little MMA boy. He doesn't mock or disparage liberal guests on his show. Now, I wonder which examples Joe Rogan used for liberal guests. Very curious. Joe Rogan praised Tucker Carlson on the show this week, singling out his ability to invite left-wing guests on the show without mocking or disparaging them. The comment might sound strange to viewers of Fox News host. Carlson gained infamy for his brutal mockery and disparagement of liberal guests. Rogan made the comment during a conversation with Alex Berenson, whose claims about COVID-19 led The Atlantic to dub him the pandemic's wrongest man on Tuesday's edition of the Joe Rogan Experience. At one point, Berenson compared Rogan's interview style to Carlson. While we'll also talk to anybody, Rogan replied, Tucker has a lot of left-wing people, and he doesn't disparage them or criticize or mock them. Listen to this. He noted that Carlson has had Burt Weinstein, who recently was spouting ivermectin talking points on his show, and Tulsi Gabbard on his show. I mean, these people are basically Lenin. I mean, if someone was to show me like two examples of left-wingers, you can get no more left-wing than Brett Weinstein and Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi banned the trans from sports Gabbard. Tulsi, the drone strikes are fun Gabbard. Tulsi, the Russians need to bomb Syria more Gabbard. Okay? You can't get any more left-wing than that. I think his discussions that he has on his show are some of the most nuanced and that he is willing to have a conversation with anybody. I mean, it is true that Rogan is willing to have a conversation with anybody, whether it be Jimmy Dore, Tulsi Gabbard, Kyle Kalinske, like anybody. That is true. But I do also think sometimes that goes a little far when it comes to anybody. Like sometimes don't have people on the show if you're not prepared to deal with the conversation you're going to have with them, right? For example, it'd be very difficult for me to ever think of a scenario where I would feel responsible in bringing Alex Jones on my show unless I had a complete game plan. Because there's no way I'm going to be able to fact check everything that Alex Jones could say on my platform. I just don't have the conspiratorial knowledge. A good example would be Joe Rogan and COVID-19. Now, it is also true that Joe Rogan himself has said things that are untrue about COVID-19, but so has many guests that he has brought on, and he has not always been there to counteract or push back on what they are saying. But I'm less than talking about this, I wanted to move on to a central premise, and that was the idea that he doesn't disparage the left-wing guests on the show. Me talking about Joe Rogan's COVID-19 nonsense, I've already talked about that at length. In other examples, Geek, if you're editing this, you can put the thumbnail to that video where we had I think it was the doctor on to my left over here. I wanted to talk about this man, Rutger Bergman. He is a author. He has wrote 2 books, Utopia for Realists and Humankind. This guy is a little bit famous because I believe, if I am remembering correctly, this was the very, very rich man that at the rich people convention was like, yo, let's be nice to the poor. And it sent shockwaves. I don't want to get too much into exactly who the man is, but just know he is somebody that you would traditionally on the American political spectrum call left-wing. And Tucker Carlson had an interview with this man. And Tucker Carlson did not withhold his disparaging comments in this interview that was never released to the public, and we only have access to it due to Now This Is reporting and somebody recording the interview with their phone as it was done on a computer. So let's take a look at this interview.
Blah, blah. It's not very convincing, to be honest.
Why don't you go yourself, you tiny brain, and I hope this gets picked up, because you're a moron. I tried to give you a hearing, but you were too annoying for me.
You can't handle the criticism, can you? We gotta be talking about Texas.
Texas.
That's it. Texas, Texas, Texas. All the rest is bullshit, in my opinion.
I mean, it feels like I'm at a firefighters conference and no one's allowed to speak about water. That's one of the great moments, maybe the great moment in Davos history. Rutger Bergman is the author of Utopia for Realists, and he joins us now. Mr. Bergman, I can't stop laughing just listening to that. And part of it makes me wonder, are you the first person ever to note that people are flying private to talk about global warming and that none of them mention tax avoidance? Has anyone ever said that before at Davos that you know of?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on Davos history, but it is a bit hypocritical, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And others have noted that. We've noted it on this show. We've just never gone to Davos and said it out loud as you did. So if I was wearing a hat, I would take it off to you. What response did you get?
I mean, they were not very happy with me, but I'm just I think, a random Dutch historian who's basically saying whatever around the globe is thinking. You know, the vast majority of Americans, for years and years now, according to the polls, including Fox News viewers and including Republicans, are in favor of higher taxes on the rich. You know, higher inheritance taxes, higher top marginal tax rates.
Now, to be clear, Tucker Carlson has a long history of defending lower taxes on the rich, and the Iraq War, and restrictions on abortion, and really any conservative talking point that is handed to him by his corporate overlords. But just throwing it out there before this eventually spirals out of control.
Higher wealth taxes, it's all really mainstream. But no one's saying that at Davos, just as no one's saying it on Fox News, right? And I think the explanation for that is quite simple.
So this is the moment where you see what's happening. This is the guy who went onto Davos and went off script and talked about how we needed to tax the rich more and that the rich need to do this and the rich need to do that in front of the rich. And so Tucker Carlson thought it was a good idea to bring this man to the show, not thinking about the fact, well, if this man was willing to do that on Davos, what would stop him from doing the exact same thing once given a platform on Fox News and its premier #1 5-star program, Tucker Carlson's show?
Is that most of the people in Davos, but also here on this channel, have been bought by the billionaire class. You know, you're not meant to say these things. So I just went there and I thought, you know what?
Also, it's strange to hear Tucker maybe get a little huffy at comments like this, because he has admitted in the past on tape with Bubba the Love Sponge that he is basically the rich's little pet, that he'll do what they're bidding to get that money. He has admitted this publicly.
I'm just going to say it, just as I'm saying it right here on this channel.
Well, what was interesting, I thought, about what you said was you noted something. I mean, many people have called for higher taxes, but very few.
Well, not on this channel, is it? I mean, almost all of the pundits on this channel for years have been against higher taxes, right? Even though the vast majority of Americans is in favor of it.
I mean, I don't know. It would be interesting to know how many hours of Fox you've watched, but I'm interested in what you said about tax avoidance. So,
yeah.
I mean, just because someone faces a specific tax rate does not mean that person pays that tax rate at all. I don't think Netflix, for example, paid any taxes last year at all. So what would you do specifically to make certain that this class of people pays what they're supposed to pay?
Well, it's about multiple things. So we should really crack down on tax paradises and on tax avoidance. That's a major issue. But it's also about having higher taxes. So in the 1950s...
He tried to pivot. He's not going to let him pivot. He's bringing it straight back. He's not going to let him get pivot from, we need higher taxes, we need higher taxes, we need higher taxes on the rich. He's not letting it happen.
For example...
And Tucker tried to... Well, I just wanted to talk about tax avoidance.
1960s, in the golden age of capitalism, as historians called it, we had top marginal tax rate for the very rich of about 70, 80, 90% actually under Eisenhower, the Republican president. And this was also one of the best periods in American history. Same is true for the UK and the rest of Europe. So as a historian, for me, it's all not, it's really not rocket science. We should just go back to simple and straightforward solutions from the past.
Right, but this country country was sustained, and since you're a historian, I guess you would know this, sustained by an industrial economy at the time that was broad and deep, that created a middle class. That doesn't exist anymore. So it's an entirely different economy. I wish it did exist.
Oh well, but that's not really an issue. I mean,
tax rate work the same way with an entirely different economy?
well, I think it would. I mean, America is still pretty much the most powerful country in the world, right? So if it really would want to, it could easily crack down on tax paradises. But the thing is, I mean, you guys have brought into power a president that doesn't even want to show its own tax returns. I mean, who knows how many billions he has hidden in the Cayman Islands or in Bermuda. So I think the issue really is one of corruption and of people being bribed and of not being, not talking about the real issues. What the family, what the Murdochs basically want you to do is to scapegoat immigrants instead of talking about tax avoidance. So I'm glad you're now finally raising the issue, but that's what's been happening for the past couple of years.
And I'm taking orders from the Murdochs. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Again, Tucker Carlson has been open about this multiple times. That he basically does. In fact, I don't think it'd be very hard for me to find the clip of him talking about it. Let's see if I can while the rest of this interview plays.
Oh, I mean, it doesn't work that directly, but I mean, you've been part of the Cato Institute, right? You've been a senior fellow there for years. You've been taking their dirty money. They're funded by cock billionaires,
Wait, why don't you tell me how it does work?
Well, it works by you taking their dirty money. It's as easy as that. I mean, you are a millionaire funded by billionaires. That's what you are. And I'm glad you now finally jumped the bandwagon, of people like Bernie Sanders and AOC. But you're not part of the solution, Mr. Carlson. You're part of the problem, actually.
Here's what I have. Tucker Carlson on Rupert Murdoch in 2010 radio segment. I'm 100% his bitch. This was part of a 15-minute monologue in which he railed against America's ruling class. Carlson slammed both parties. Oh wait, no, this was in January. Media Matters for America watchdog organization has released a trove of audio that includes racist, misogynistic comments made on the same radio program. In those segments, Carlson appeared to defend statutory rape, called for the elimination of rape shield laws, and made suggestive comments about underage girls. He has so far refused to apologize, instead flippantly saying that he was caught saying something naughty. 1 second. Here it is.
No, like instead of ridiculous, religious.
Yeah, now you got me thinking about it.
No, see, that doesn't work.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
It's gotta be
saying.
like Fast Food Nation was a good one. You know what I mean?
Or Supersize Me.
Yeah, Supersize Me. That's a great one. I totally agree with that. Was Fast Food Nation was a book.
Crucify me. That would have worked.
How about God Sucks?
That works too.
Religious. Yeah, I don't know.
Religious.
I mean, beating up on religious people is too easy. I mean, come on.
No way.
Beating up on Christians, give me a break.
We're supposed to sit around and let the Christians beat up on us for years and years and years and not fight back?
That's ridiculous. I mean, the threat is from radical Muslims, and for some reason, the same people are always beating up on the evangelicals are always giving the Muslims a pass.
Well, I give neither of
You
them.
never hear Bill Maher going after them.
Are you kidding me? He does a whole skits about fucking Ahmed in the bomb shop. He beats up on the Islam all the time.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Come on, Tucker.
Really? Because I'll take your word for it because I know you probably watch more of that than I do. But every time I've been on a show or heard him, I mean, it's always beating up on some snake handler in Kentucky and not hurting anybody.
Whatever that big new network announcement you were going to give us in a week.
Oh, about my new job?
Yeah.
I'm not getting a new job. I'm just going to be hanging around the same old
hold on.
pathetic, unemployed, unshaven in his boxer shorts at noon kind of guy.
Were you up for one and it fell through, or were you screwed?
No, dude, who'd employ me? I just look, I've got the perfect life right now. I just, I get up late, I go down,
how do you pay your bill?
Coffee, read the newspapers, stuff like that. Juice a Nicorette, go out to lunch.
How do you pay your bills?
Well, I'm extraordinarily loaded just from money I inherited from my number of trust funds.
From the Swanson.
Yeah, totally.
From the Swanson deal.
Yeah, I'll go out and beat some servants. I'll wrap my Lamborghini around a tree, go pick up a kilo or two. Just like normal stuff like that.
You're just living. You're a trust fund baby, are you not?
Oh, completely. I've never needed to work. Yeah. I mean, it's all just, the whole cable news thing was just a total pose. It was like a phase I was going through. You know what I mean?
When's CBS announcing the new Tucker Carlson
game show?
I don't know when they are. I mean, they paid me for it. It's ready to go.
Must not be testing too good.
Okay, we'll stop that right there. But here you can see right here. Here is him talking about Rupert Murdoch, which was the topic of conversation in this interview.
Example, Sean Hannity was set to broadcast live from a Tea Party. And Rupert Murdoch the day before said, no, we don't support the Tea Party, we don't support the Republican Party, we don't support any party. And Rupert Murdoch did pull Hannity off of broadcasting live from the Tea Party.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit more complicated than that. But it was, I think it was a miscommunication. But look, I mean, you can go to the Tea Party events. I've been to a lot of Tea Party events. I spoke at a Tea Party event. And I wasn't, I'm not running as a Tea Party candidate. I'm not giving money to Tea Party people. I just, it's a great place to reach people,
Sure, but what I'm saying is at that point, Rupert Murdoch didn't want Hannity broadcasting from there.
Yeah, well, something happened, no doubt about that. I don't know if was it Murdoch?
Yeah, it was because Murdoch received the question. They said, "Hey, you guys, Fox News, are part of
Murdoch's the most powerful man in America."
I mean, Rupert Murdoch, I've got to give him credit. When you talk about media conglomerates, he really knows what he's doing.
Yes.
He is smart.
He's very smart.
Really smart and tough.
You're his bitch.
I'm 100% his bitch. Whatever Mr. Murdoch says, I do.
Exactly. You know how you treat your migrant workers that shine up your Bentley and stuff? That Robert Murdoch could treat you that way.
Really?
Yep.
I would be honored if he would cane me the way I cane my workers, my servants. One of them this morning, there was a spot on the back. You couldn't see it, but on one of my wingtips, and whoa. Hell to pay.
He took an ass whipping for that, didn't he?
Well, first I threw my pomegranate at him. He was across the room.
Right.
And then the silver service. And I said, come here, and I kind of hobbled after him with one shoe on. I caught him finally.
Yeah.
Well, look, obviously most of this is in a joking-esque manner. Funny or not funny, that's up to you to determine. But everything he said here is rooted in fact. It is true that Tucker would never have to work a day in his life. He has access to the Swanson family fortune. He has always had access to the Swanson family fortune. He could quit tomorrow and he would live the rest of his life fine. He inherited the vast majority of his money. That's the first thing. So when people try to pretend that Tucker Carlson is a voice for the working class, he has never known what it's like to be working class. He has never known what it's like to be hungry. He has never known what it's like to need to put food on the table, because who would have thought that the Swanson food family fortune, frozen food family fortune, man, would not know what it's like to put food on the table? Sad but true. And the second thing, and this was the main thing I wanted to talk about, that he admits to being Rupert Murdoch's bitch. Now, you could say that is him joking, and I do think that is obvious. But it's also true, because who writes his checks? Rupert Murdoch. That's why he was in favor of the Iraq War. That's why he's in favor of low taxes, not only because it serves Rupert Murdoch's interest, but it also serves his own personal interest, being part of a family fortune and a trust fund baby, self-admitted trust fund baby. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is he's an extremely wealthy man who services another extremely wealthy man, Rupert Murdoch, and the Fox News Corporation and their interests. He's always been like that. And he'll flip on a dime if told to. He's become lately an extremely anti-interventionist type person after, of course, supporting the Iraq War. Anyway, let's get back over to the main show. Now let's go back on this.
Like Bernie Sanders and AOC, but you're not part of the solution, Mr. Carlson. You're part of the problem, actually.
AOC, but can I just say, and
it's true, right? It's true, right? That all the anchors on Fox, they're all millionaires. How is this possible? Well, it's very easy. You're just not talking about certain things.
Fox doesn't even play where you are.
It doesn't play where you are. Well, have you heard of the internet? I can watch things whatever I want, you know. I have, actually. I can't say I'm a great fan of your show, but I do my homework when you invite me on your show. So, I mean, you're probably not going to air this, but I went to Davos to speak truth to power, and I'm doing exactly the same thing right now. You might not like it, but you're a millionaire funded by billionaires, and that's the reason why you're not talking about these issues.
But I am talking about these issues.
Yeah, only now. Come on, you jumped the bandwagon. You're all like, oh, I'm against the globalist elite, blah, blah, blah. It's not very convincing, to be honest.
Why don't you go yourself, you tiny brain, and I hope this gets picked up. Because you're a moron. I tried
You're welcome, Tucker. I picked it up.
to give you a hearing, but you were too annoying for me.
You can't handle the criticism, can you?
There's a war on alternative.
So, Joe, I understand it, right? Want to be friendly with him. You like Tulsi Gabbard. She's been on your show. You like Brett Weinstein. I think it's Brett Weinstein. I always forget the name. Brett Weinstein. He's been on your show. But Tucker Carlson is not nice to the left. Many people would not consider either of these people to be really on the left. And when he has a left-winger really challenge him, he breaks down like we just saw. Why? Probably in part because he has a huge ego and everything has been served to him on a silver platter since the day he was born, and he never really needed to earn a dime in his life because everything was given to him through his frozen food family fortune. But also because the people who write his checks don't want stuff like this to air on his program. Because stuff like this doesn't make him or the people he serves look very nice. Anyway, that's enough of the Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan segment. Does Usyk have a chance against Fury? I think Anthony Joshua was big, and Usyk was able to beat AJ. So now I do believe Usyk has a chance against anyone in the heavyweights, right? But Tyson Fury's another level of big. I mean, Usyk would really need to get in there to really land against Fury. And I think Usyk is Fury's a much better boxer than Anthony Joshua. If it was Usyk versus Tyson Fury right now, I think Tyson Fury would win. Not only do I think Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight boxer right now, I think he's the best heavyweight boxer of this generation. And I think right now he's one of the best boxers in the world, period, regardless of weight class. So I would give it to Fury. But you want to know something else? I'd also probably give that title close to Usyk because he dominated the cruiserweight division and has now captured a heavyweight title. He has all the belts but one, so it would be a great fight. But I think the size advantage of Fury would just give him the strong edge. Deontay Wilder was the best boxer in the heavyweight division. Fury with 3-0 against him. To say Deontay Wilder was ever the best boxer in the heavyweight division, I think, is totally incorrect. He was the best puncher, but he was never the best boxer. Not even close. So what you're saying is only Jake Paul has a chance against Fury. Yes, I think Jake Paul is the only man who can beat Fury because I think he's the best of this generation, period. I think anyone who would deny that Jake Paul is the best boxer probably in this generation, possibly the GOAT, greatest of all time, is probably just angry at how successful that Maverick is. Wait, what is this? I forget I had this tab open. Right-wing talk show host Stu Peters and Trump-endorsed congressional candidate Joe Kent said today that Green, Boebert, and Noam are fake MAGA. They have these talking points to rile up the base with a big fat click here to donate button and get nothing accomplished. Huh.
We're gonna go after rhinos. We're gonna impeach Biden. Well,
oh my God. You know what? This is great for a segment I wanted to do anyway on right-wing infighting. Did you guys hear about Marjorie Taylor Greene being called a communist? I don't know if you guys heard about this. It was, who's that one lawyer guy, the QAnoner? We all know him, right? What's his name? The lawyer dude. We all know. Lynn Wood. There has been some infighting. between these two.
Marjorie Greene.
So, oh god, I don't need to see the Young Turk segment on it, but Lynn Wood is going after Marjorie Taylor Greene at the moment. The reason being that that he believes that Marjorie Taylor Greene is a, god, gotta have to restart the segment. Come on, here it is. Okay, come on. Okay. So, Lynn Wood, who is a QAnon lawyer, and also, by the way, I think at one point, I don't know if he still is, was part of the legal defense team of Kyle Rittenhouse, fun fact, is going after Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, the reason he's going after Marjorie Taylor Greene is that he is asserting that Marjorie Taylor Greene is a communist. The one and only Marjorie Taylor Greene, a communist. I mean, it is a heavy accusation. Now, why does Lynn Wood believe that Marjorie Taylor Greene is a communist? Did she come out with a surprising statement for the workers to own the means of production? Did she come out with a little hammer and sickle pin? Did she even come out and endorse a left-wing program? Not even a communist or socialist one. Just the usual right-wing fear-mongering about left-wing programs. No. He called her a communist. The same woman who is probably known as one of the hardest Trump cultists and believed nonsensical bullshit like Lynn Wood believes, like that the Jewish space lasers cause wildfires in California. He called her a communist because she is running around saying impeach Biden, which implies that Biden won. He didn't. Let's listen to that logic again. Let me explain. So he believes that Marjorie Taylor Greene is a communist because she is advocating for the impeachment of Joe Biden, along with a few other Republicans like Lauren Boebert, the gun lady, right? They're advocating for Biden's impeachment on a bunch of frivolous things that are either not really traditionally impeachable or not going to gain any win. They're doing it for performative purposes, but it's something that has pleased much of the far right in this country, as they're like, they did it to Trump for no reason, even though it was for very obvious reasons. So we're going to do it to Biden for no reason. And that's the logic. They're saying they've broke the norms of impeachment, so we're going to impeach them. And so they're taking this semi-radical far right move, in my humble opinion. And Lynn Wood steps out and says, you're a communist. Of course, it's ridiculous. But his reasoning is that, well, Biden never even won the election. He isn't even the true president. So therefore, if you're advocating for his impeachment, then you are implying implicitly that Biden is the president right now. Therefore, you're saying Biden is president, which he isn't, communist. Has nothing to do with the principles of communism. Has nothing to do with communism. But therefore, since Marjorie Taylor Greene, through her political actions, has to basically imply that Joe Biden is president, she is now a communist. This is some of the most backwards, crazy-ass, weird infighting I've seen. And I love it. What's that one Simpsons meme? Where there's the two monkeys with knives and everybody at the money? That's what I feel like right now. What is it? Simpson monkey fight meme. This thing right here. This is what this feels like, right? On one hand, you got right here, you got Lynn Wood. Over here, you got Marjorie Taylor Greene, okay? I need these two to fight, and I needed them to fight to the death, and it's great. And here's everyone else with 2 brain cells or more just celebrating, having a blast. Obviously, this logic is backwards. But Lynn Wood apparently isn't the only person to jump on the Marjorie Taylor Greene is a communist or not a real Trump supporter train, because we can play this footage of a right-wing talk show host by the name of Stu Peters and a Trump-endorsed candidate, Joe Kent. Not to be confused with John Kent, Superman's bisexual son, which we're going to talk about even more later, even though we've already covered it in the past. Steven Crowder and Ben Shapiro decided they wanted to put themselves into that conversation. So this Trump-endorsed candidate, so not just some know-nothing Republican, there's 1 million people who run for Congress every year, and the vast majority of them fail. So this is one that actually is a Trump-endorsed candidate, might have a chance. They both said that Green and Bobbitt and Noam, don't know who this last person is, are fake MAGA. They have these talking points to rile up the base with a big fat click here to donate button and get nothing accomplished. This is 100% true. Even though they're real MAGA, this is 100% true, and it's hilarious to see one of their own say it. Let's listen to it quick.
Well, just a second ago, you said Biden wasn't really the president. So, I mean, what is this? I mean, let's just get down to brass tacks, Joe. I look at somebody like AOC, and then I look at somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene or any of these other, Boebert, even governors like Kristi Noem, and they say these really powerful things that don't make any sense, that never accomplish anything, and they're all the same. AOC is no different than anybody on the right now, really. They all get assigned, it seems like, these talking points to rile up the base with a big fat click here to donate button and then get nothing accomplished at all.
I mean, there's a ton of gridlock in Washington. That's what it's famous for, to make sure that people can't make a difference. However, there is definitely a grift game going on in large parts of just the political apparatus, but especially with the GOP. There's a huge push in the GOP to say, hey, isn't it crazy what the Democrats are doing? Socialism sucks, insert punchline here and there. But then, like you said, it goes back to that donate button, and then we're light on the action.
Look, all I have to say is, Kent Peters, welcome to the hashtag resistance. I appreciate it. But for real, to see the right wing eat their own is a good change of pace. And to see them eat their own over one legitimate criticism, that these far right nut jobs do nothing but push out talking points, get national recognition, TV appearances, and don't have any knowledge of how to actually get a bill passed. And the legislation that they want to get passed is so radical, far out there, like impeach Biden, that's never going to get passed. There is an actual concrete criticism. And on the other hand, you got Lynn Wood saying stuff like, well, Major Taylor Greene is a communist because she wants to impeach Biden. Not because he doesn't, not because he believes that not supporting Biden is communist or that she's impeaching him from the left-wing side, but because her impeachment of Joe Biden implies Biden is the president because he has to be the president to be impeached. Therefore, communist, because Trump is still the real president. Just look at the flag. It's a maritime law, whatever the hell, sovereign citizen bullshit. It's beautiful right-wing infighting. I love it. I'm eating up every second of it. And I'm happy that I can sit here and experience this nonsense with all of you lovely people at home. By the way, this Twitter account right here, it was recommended to me by Geek, my editor. Hi, Geek. And it has some of the best content. Oh my god. It has some top tier content. By the way, did any of you guys see this? MAGA congressional candidate in New Hampshire is asking for $32 donations since today is AOC's 32nd birthday. I told you every Republican in the country uses her to raise money. Now they are using her birthday in New Hampshire. That is so unbelievably obsessive. Could you imagine if every single time Trump had a birthday on this channel, I was asking everyone to donate those many subs or those many dollars in protest of Donald Trump living for another year? Today is the socialist AOC's birthday. As she attempts to brainwash my generation into hating America and government dependency, I am committed to ensuring freedom prevails in 2022. Chip in $32 for AOC's 32nd. Let's take out the House and save America. And to be clear, she is not challenging in AOC's district. It's in New Hampshire. She's in a completely different state, challenging a completely different congressperson. And just railing on AOC. A almost freshman congressperson who's been in for, this is her second term, right? Got elected in 2018. This is her second term. Re-elected in 2020. Amazing.
Amazing.
Anyway, that's enough of the right wing infighting. even though it's very, very funny. Okay. By the way, I have yet to figure out a good meme to post with this. Okay? I saw this the other day, and I really want to retweet this, but I don't have anything good, any good memes to retweet with this. Not like a frustrated face or something, and I got nothing. So if anybody's got any big brain memes, okay, that they could deploy for my usage here, I would appreciate it. Oh, what was that political compass? I'm glad you guys asked. So this is the political compass to figure out which square you're in. And you go through every little section here and figure out which ones you fill in the most. So we'll be doing this later in the show, but not yet. Not yet. We're not ready for this. I think some Republicans, including Trump, are a tiny bit afraid of Trump followers. I don't know if Trump is afraid of Trump followers, but I know a lot of Republicans are afraid of Trump followers. Definitely after January 6th, because many of them are like, wait, I'm all down with this, like, a lot of this crazy nonsense, but I didn't need them to direct their crazy nonsense at me while I was in Congress trying to certify this vote. I mean, we all know Biden won. Anyway, that's enough of that. Okay. What's the next story? Oh! Okay. Let's see. Oh, I wanted to talk about Greg Abbott. Texas Governor Greg Abbott. There's two stories about Greg Abbott I wanted to cover today. And let me see if I can find the other one. I think I have it in my Discord. Somebody provided me a link. Great. Let's figure this out. There it is. There's where the link should be. Okay. Okay. So, Greg Abbott has been in the news for two reasons. And his state has been in the news for two reasons recently. Hey, Buckeye76. Thanks for the tier 1 sub. AOC was elected in 2019. Oh, it was 2019? So, well, this is still her... She's been reelected, though, I'm pretty sure. Was she reelected or not reelected yet? Is she still a freshman? Is AOC still a freshman? I know Ilhan was reelected. Rashida was reelected. Has AOC been reelected? Could have sworn. She's a sophomore. Okay. Got it. AOC was elected in 2019. Was she elected or sworn in 2019? Because I thought she was elected in 2018, but sworn in 2019. Yes, still a freshman? I'll have to check this out. AOC. Political election. Ballotpedia. This was in 2020, and this was her re-election, though. Oh, it was 2018. Yeah, she beat Joseph Crowley. So no, no. This is her second term. Got it. Anyway, I know that's cleared up. Let's get back to what I was talking about. So, Texas is in the news for two things. Okay? So, the first thing we want to cover is an older story, but we've got some secret footage, okay? Some down home secret footage. You know, we got our secret agents across this nation and everything. But somebody went over to Greg Abbott while secretly recording to listen to him talk about abortion and birth control. And they acted like they were a huge Greg Abbott supporter in order to get some answers out of him when it comes to his abortion policies and his policies on birth control. So Let's listen to it.
Happy to. My grandma's a huge fan, and I'm a huge fan. You want me to write your grandma's name on it? Yeah, if you could say, thank you so much, Zella.
Do this here. What'd you say first name is?
Zella, Z-E-L-L-A.
I've never met a Zella before.
Yeah.
She's a very interesting Texan.
So she's a huge fan, I'm a huge fan. I want to thank you so much. We want to thank you so much for all that you're doing to defend the unborn. And, you know, we're just wondering, like, what more can be done until Roe v. Wade is not the law anymore. Like, can you do something about, like, morning after pills and birth control? Because I think that it's, like, destroying the fabric of our society and women and incentives to be promiscuous.
Yeah, I signed 2 more laws already on that. One that prohibits mail order abortion pills from being sent. The other is maybe the most important.
Okay, first off, can I just say, why would you prohibit mail order abortion? What do you mean abortion pills? I assume he means contraceptives, but he just called them abortion pills. What practical reason or health reason could you possibly have for prohibiting people from getting their health services in the mail?
It's called the trigger bill. What it means is that if any other state files a lawsuit and the Supreme Court strikes down Roe versus Wade, abortion is immediately abolished in Texas without even having a recession. So, but basically, we've outlawed abortion in Texas.
So basically, we've outlawed abortion in Texas. Look, you cannot get more of a direct admission from any politician about their intentions while in office than something like this.